Students, welcome to the class. We will be looking today the verbal ability. Verbal ability is a very important component for competitive exams. Only if you are thorough in your vocabulary, words, meanings, you can come out successfully in your exams. So, let us look into few items of verbal ability. Synonyms means similar meaning. So let us take this word corpulent, and I'm going to give you options for that. A, lean, B is gaunt, and C is emaciated, and D is obese. So these are the options given to you. So before checking the answer, you must know the meaning of these words. That is the option words. Only then you can find the correct answer. So let us see what you mean by lean. Lean means, you would have heard, it's a very common word. Thin, you can say. Then the next word is gaunt. That is also lean. But this lean is due to some kind of suffering, illness, or due to hunger. A person can become lean. So that is this word is used for that situation. Gaunt. Then option C is emaciated. Emaciated, that is EMACIATED. The meaning of this word is thin or weak. Option D is obese. Obese means overweight. People are fat, but we say overweight. So corpulent, D, obese. So that is the answer for the first one. Next is August. There is another August, AUGUST, that is month August. So this also has the same spelling, AUGUS, August. This has got a different meaning. Let us see what the options are. A, common. B, ridiculous. C, dignified. D, petty. We must know the meaning of these words. So what is common? A is common. Common means common things, which you can see often. Then ridiculous. Ridiculous means strange, funny. So these are the meaning of ridiculous. Then dignified. Dignified means what? You are given respect. You have a position in the society. That is dignified. And what is D? Petty. 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 Petty means small. Small things we'll say. Petty cash we'll say. So that is petty, petty. So august means your august presence. Have you heard when you give speech and all, we use this word august, your august presence. So the word is dignified, C. The next word is canny, CANNY, canny. Let us see what the options are. First option is obstinate, OBSTINAT. Obstinate means stubborn. The meaning is stubborn. Stubborn, any other word you know for stubborn? Rigid, stiff. That means there is no flexibility in that person. Stubborn person. Stubborn children. Isn't it? Okay, the next word is B, handsome. HANDSOME. So whenever you are learning the words, learn like this with the spelling. So this will help you in the spelling test also. Handsome, you know, good looking. Usually for boys we use this word handsome, and for girls we'll say beautiful. C is clever. Clever, you know, intelligent, smart, etc. D, stout, STOUT, stout. Stout means heavy built. We call it FT, thefty. It is called heavy built. So here canny. The meaning of canny is clever. See, you are learning one word. For that they are giving you options. So how many words you are learning at a time? This is very important. Okay. So you should be very careful while learning synonyms, antonyms. Everything is important. But you know, words make sentences, isn't it? Now, the next one is stringent. Let us see what the meaning for stringent. The spelling is S-T-R-I-N-G-E-N-T, stringent. The options are A, dry, D-R-Y, dry. Dry means what? There is no moisture. It is not wet. B, strained, S-T-R-A-I-N-E-D, strained. Then the next word is C, rigorous, R-I-G-O-R-O-U-S, rigorous. Means what? Extremely thorough, meticulous. Meticulous means following strictly the rules. Then D, shrill, S-H-R-I-L-L, shrill. Some people have shrill voice. That time you will tell, oh, my ears are piercing. Come on, lower down your voice. Shrill. The sound is just, it's not very sweet to listen to. It's very irritating. That is called shrill voice. So we can say high pitched, piercing your ears. So the word was stringent. So option C, rigorous. That means meticulous, thorough. So that is the similar meaning for that. The next word we are going to see is lament. L-A-M-E-N-T, lament. Lament means passionate expression of grief or sorrow. Grief or sorrow you can say in a normal way, but this passionate, for example, you lose someone in your family who is very close to you. That person is missing from your life. So you keep on telling about that person. Oh, I miss that person. I wish that person is still living, is among us. So that is called lament. We'll see the options. A, complain, C-O-M-P-L-A-I-N, complain. Finding fault. Is it finding fault? It's kind of, you keep on telling something, this or that. That is called complain. Even finding fault is also complain. Comment. You know what is comment? So we all have the right to comment whatever we like, but our comment should not hurt anyone. Can be a good comment or a bad comment. Saying something. Then we have conflict. C-O-N-F-L-I-C-T, conflict. Conflict means fight. Or you can say pick up quarrel. That is called conflict. Then D is console. C-O-N-S-O-L-E. Console. You know what is console? Pacify. P-A-C-I-F-Y. Pacify. Comfort. C-O-M-F-O-R-T. Comfort. Solace. S-O-L-A-C-E. When you are sad, so that is the time when you need someone to be with you, come and comfort you, pacify you. When you're happy, that's a different scenario. But when you're sad, somebody, your friend or your parents, somebody, otherwise you will feel very lonely. You will go into depression. So that is console. So lament meaning is A, complain. It is complain. It is passionate expression of grief or sorrow. So that is the option for lament. So these are the synonyms. So naturally we looked into synonyms. Now let us look into antonyms. So everything, there is one good, there is one bad. isn't it? So when we saw the synonyms, now we have to look into the antonyms as well. The first word is in antonyms is relinquish. 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 Let us see what's the meaning. What is the first we have to know what it is. What's the meaning of relinquish? Only then you can find the opposite of the word, isn't it? So relinquish means give up. So what give up is a phrase. That means you cannot do it anymore. You cannot go with it, continue with it. So you say, you stop it, you say goodbye to it. That is called give up. Now the options are A, abdicate. 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 Abdicate meaning is resign. 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 Retire. 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 Quit. 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 B, renounce. 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 So again, renounce meaning is give up, reject. C, possess. POSSESS. Possess means what? You have something of your own. You possess this. You possess a car. You possess a bicycle. That is keeping it with you, having it with you. It is your own. That is called possess. The next word is D, deny. DENY, deny. Deny means what? Refuse, turn down. Now, you remember, we are looking for the opposite. Relinquish means it is give up. You cannot take it anymore. So what can be the opposite here? Possess. C, that is have it, keep it. You are not giving it up. That is called possess. The next word is mortal. I think this word you have heard often. It's a common word, mortal. So our body is mortal. Human bodies are mortal. You think you can live for 100 years? No. One point or the other, we have to go. We have to say goodbye to this world. So this physical body, this physical flesh is not going to exist anymore. So they say, okay, what about our soul then? Soul is, it will not die. Soul will not die. So there is a word for that. So what can that be? Immortal. So mortal opposite is immortal. Okay. Now let us see the options. A, divine. What do you mean by divine? Godly. Divine presence. Godly presence. God-like. They are not God, but God-like. They are equal to God. We keep them in the place of God. Immortal, never dying. Our soul is immortal. Then is spiritual. The next word is spiritual. SPIRITUAL. Spiritual means non-material. Spiritual people don't want any comforts in this world. They're not going behind materialistic benefits, materials. So non-material, sacred. Then we have the word eternal. ETERNAL. Eternal means everlasting. No death for that. It keeps on going, continuous. That is called everlasting. Now, the next word is quiescent. 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 Quiescent means state of inactivity. State of inactivity. Now, this is the meaning of this word. Now we have to go for the opposite of this word. So I'll tell you the options. A, active. 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 B, dormant. 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 C. weak, weak, and D. unconcerned, unconcerned, unconcerned. So what do you mean by active? Active means very lively. Then what do you mean by dormant? Dormant means no action is happening, still. So dormant means no action is happening, it is still. Weak, you know what is weak? A person is weak means there is no strength, energy in that person. Then we have unconcerned. Unconcerned means not bothered. So you should know the meaning of all the options. Only then you can choose the correct opposite. So you know quiescent means inactive. It means what? Not active. So what can be the opposite word for not active? Active. So A option, active is the opposite of quiescent. Now the next word is flagitious. Flagitious. You pronounce it as flagitious. That means criminal. A person who commits crime, that is against the law, going against the law, that is called crime. So he is a criminal, he or she. Let us see the opposite. See the options. A. Innocent. 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 Innocent means you are not aware what happened, what is happening. Rapid. Rapid means fast. Ignorant. 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 You are not looking into it. You are avoiding it. You are not aware of it. That is called ignorant. Then we have frivolous. FRIVOLOUS means silly. 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 Foolish. FOOLISH. Now let us see. Flagitious meaning is criminal. So what can be the opposite of that? Innocent. So option A is the answer. Innocent. The next option is, the next word is belittle. BELITTLE. The meaning of that word is make someone or something unimportant. That is, you try to ignore something. You don't give a care for that person. You don't give a damn for that person. Making someone something unimportant. They don't exist only. It is like some people are there. When they they will be in a good position. So fame. When you become famous, that is fame. Sometimes fame takes you to the head. So you are not grounded. So when you are a normal person, maybe you had some friends. The same friends, when they come to see you, when you reach to that position, fame, they don't care for you. They don't bother about you. Make you little unimportant. Once upon a time, you are very important for them. Now you are unimportant. So it is called belittle. So let us see what is the opposite of that. A. Criticize. 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 Then we have flatter. 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 Criticize means what? Finding faults. Saying something or the other. For everything finding faults. Then flatter. Flatter means what? We say putting polish. If you want something to happen by that someone, if A wants something to be done by B, so A will flatter B. Then we have C. Exaggerate. EXAGGERATE. Exaggerate means praise. Might be that person is not praiseworthy, but simply you will be praising a person because you want something to be done by that person. Then we have the word adore. ADORE. So let us see what will come as the option. We saw the option, so let us see what will be the answer. Exaggerate, see, praise. So we know what is belittle, make someone unimportant. So exaggerate means praise, P-R-A-I-S-E, praise. So thus we are seeing synonyms and antonyms. Like that we'll see all the important portions of verbal ability. The synonyms and antonyms that I was explaining to you is what you are seeing here now. Now let us look into another area of verbal ability test, that is jumbled sentences. So this also you can score really well. Only thing, you must know how to put the sentences in logical order. So it will be a simple reading. You have to just understand it and then place it in order. If you practice like this many jumbled sentences, it's really going to help you. Let us see some of it. I'm going like this. Since the beginning of history, that's the starting of the sentence. So that will be permanent, it won't change. Then comes have PQRS will be given. So the PQRS is what? You have to put it in order. P, have managed to catch. Q, the Eskimos and Red Indians are by a very difficult method. Yes, a few specimens of this aquatic animal. So the proper sequence should be A, QRPS, B, SQPR, C, SQRP, and D, QPSR. So keeping these sequences in mind, that is what has been given to us. Let us apply, that is how we have to go into this. You take A, that is QRPS, you just apply that and see whether it, so the initial itself you will come to know whether it is coming in order or not. So QRPS, let us see what is Q, the Eskimos and Red Indians. So the first sentence is starting with since the beginning of history. Then comes Q, the Eskimos and Red Indians are by a very difficult method. P, have managed to catch, yes, a few specimens of this aquatic animal. There is something missing in that, so it is not going in order. So let us take B, SQPR. S is a few specimens of this aquatic animal. The Eskimos and Red Indians, again a few specimens of this aquatic animal. Then comes the Eskimos and the Red Indians. So again it is not going, so just leave it. Now come to the next sequence. SQRP. S stands for a few specimens of this aquatic animal. Q, the Eskimos and Red Indians. Again it is not going well with that. Now take D, QPSR. Q stands for, let us go like this. Since the beginning of history, the Eskimos and Red Indians have managed to catch, that is P, yes, a few specimens of this aquatic animal by a very difficult method. So when you read itself, you can feel that there is some order in it. There is some meaning to what we are speaking or saying. Now we can go mark as D as the answer. So that is how we have to do the jumbling or jumbled sentences, or you can call it what is that, mixed sentences, or put it in order, whatever it is. So that is how you will be doing this jumbled sentences. So there are few jumbled sentences in this which you can also do it on your own. So towards the end of whatever I finished explaining, I'll be giving you this, so you can look into it and you can do it. Now let us go to another thing, that is one word substitute. One word substitute is also part of the verbal ability. How well you can speak, how well you can write. This one word substitute helps you. You need not say much. In one word you can finish off whatever you're going to say, or you can write just that one word. There are a lot of one word substitutes in English, plenty you can say. At least some we should know, so that it will help you to write your exam well. Let us see what they are. Something that can be heard, hearing it. So that is, what is that called as audible. A name adopted by an author in his writings, pseudonym. That is, they won't give their actual name. It's also called as pen name. Then study of birds, it is called ornithology. A child born after death of his father. After the death of father, it's called posthumous. Post means after. So a child born after the death of father is called posthumous. A place where bees are kept is called an apiary. A study of the evolution of man as an animal, anthropology. A person who speaks many languages, polyglot. A disease of mind causing an uncontrollable desire to steal. Some people have this nature in them. They might be rich. It's not that they want it, but that's the kind of a disorder in you, and you want to steal whatever you see. Steal means, that is, you don't want people to watch that you're stealing, but slowly you will go and take it. So that is called kleptomania. It's a kind of mania, so we call it kleptomania. A person who brings goods illegally into the country. This is very familiar. So if you know good, judge what it is. Otherwise I am going to tell you. Smuggler. Intense desire to be in open spaces. Who like to be inside one room itself all the time? So coming out into open space. So some people staying inside a room, they feel very suffocated. So they always like to be in open air, that is spacious. Mainly it is open air. That is called agromania. Craze or obsession with England and the English. That is called Anglomania. Craze for books or reading, bibliomania. Craze for music, melomania. Mania for money, plutomania. Fear of heights, that fear, that is called phobia. So let us see, different phobias are there. That is fear. Fear with so many things. So let us see what they are. Fear of heights, that is called acrophobia. Fear of flying, Aerophobia. Fear of spiders. Arachnophobia. Fear of thunder and lightning. Astrophobia. Fear of being alone. Most of us fear to be alone. Autophobia. Fear of confined or crowded spaces. Congested place. We say, no, there is no place to breathe. Suffocating. Claustrophobia. Fear of blood. Some people actually faint when they see blood. That is fear of blood. Hemophobia. So you can, by the name hemoglobin, you can understand what it is. Hemophobia. Fear of water. So with that term itself, it will be easy for you to understand. Water. Hydro. So it's called hydrophobia. Fear of snakes. I think most of us fear snakes. So you should know this. Opidiophobia. 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 Fear of animals. Zoophobia. So that will be easy for you. Animals are in zoo. They are in forest. But we keep them in zoo so that we can go and see. We all cannot go to the forest and see the animals. So at least when we go to zoo, we can see them. But some people have fear to going to zoo itself and seeing. They are not going to come and harm you. So that fear is called zoophobia. Now let us see killing. Killing has also got terms, different types of killing. Killing a king is called regicide. Then the systematic extermination of an entire national, racial, religious or ethnic group, that is the full clan, everybody are being killed, that is called genocide. The act of killing a child within the first year of its life, that is the child has not yet reached 1 year, within 1 year. So that killing is called infanticide. The act of killing one's father is called patricide, parent. So father, we call it as patricide. The act of killing one's mother, it's called matricide. So mother, you remember that M, mother, maternal, so matricide. And father, it is paternal, P, patricide. Killing of a human being, homicide. Killing of one's wife, exorcide. Killing of a woman, gynicide. So gynic means women, gynicide. Killing of one's brother or sister is called fratricide. Fratricide, Fratricide. Killing of one's sister, zororicide. Destroying the meaning of a word, verbicide. So we were seeing one word substitute. Now let us see some idioms and phrases that are also one important verbal ability which is normally asked for competitive exams. A man of straw. So you know what it is, idioms and phrases. The word a man of straw, it's not that easy to understand what it is. Only if you're really thorough, only with good standard, you will be able to understand the depth meaning of a man of straw. Let us see the examples. A man of no substance. B, a very active person. C, a worthy fellow. D, an unreasonable person. E, none of these. So a man of straw is a man of no substance. The next one is to smell a rat. Something fishy. You like the smell of rat? No. So something fishy. I can smell something. So what is that? A, to see signs of plague epidemic. B, to get bad smell of a bad dead rat. C, to suspect foul dealings. D, to be in a bad mood. E, none of these. To smell a rat means suspect something foul. So C, to suspect foul dealings. So I think that is little easy to understand. So keep this all in your mind. It's going to help you. Nothing is easy. So you have to practice. You go through this. How many you can go through, you go through. Whatever is possible within this short period, you go through. It will really help you. Third one, to hit the nail right on the head. So let us see what are the options. To do the right thing, to destroy one's reputation, to announce one's fixed views, to teach someone a lesson. None of these. So as they say, to hit the nail right on the head, to do the right thing correctly. That is the meaning. Fourth one, I met him after a long time, but he gave me the cold shoulder. Cold shoulder. So that is the underlined one in italics. So that is the idiom. For this we have to find the meaning. Scolded me, insulted me, abused me, ignored me. So cold shoulder means ignored me. The cricket match proved to be a big draw. Don't confuse it. The cricket match proved to be a big draw. Doesn't mean the match was draw. Let us see what it is. A keen contest, a huge attraction, a lovely spectacle, a game without any result. So don't confuse, it is not the game without any result. The cricket match proved to be a big draw means huge attraction. You can see the jumbled sentences are given here. I have explained to you some. The remaining you try to do so that you will get practice of how to do jumbled sentences. Here again you have the one word substitute. So this also I explained to you earlier. So please go through that. Now you can see the idioms and phrases that also has been explained to you earlier. Okay, students, now let us see some other area. This you have studied in your younger class itself, that is in your schools. So how much ever you study this, you like to keep on learning more and more and more about this. So the topic is articles. How many of you know what article is? Okay, I'll explain to you what they are. Articles are words that define a noun. You know what is a noun? It's a part of speech. Then what else? What is a noun? Noun is a part of the speech. But what is a noun? It speaks about person, place or thing. So noun is a must in a sentence. So what does this article do? It defines a noun. So now let us see in detail about what articles is. There are two types of articles. They are definite article and another is indefinite article. The very word definite means what? Sure. And what do you mean by indefinite? You are not sure, not certain. For example, if I ask you, get me a chair. Someone please go get me a chair. You will be going and bringing me a chair. That chair can be plastic chair, wooden chair, iron chair, etc. I just mentioned a chair. Suppose if I say, get me the blue chair from the next room. Might be that room is having different types of chairs, but what I asked is the blue chair. So when I am putting the before blue, I'm very particular, I want the blue chair. So that is called definite. When I told bring me a chair, it can be any chair. So that is called indefinite article and the is the definite article. And again a and an. A and that is a and an are there. They are used only for singular nouns. Keep in mind, a and an are used for singular noun. Let us see how it goes. There are 26 letters in English. So all of you know there are 26 letters, isn't it? You are sure? Okay. From these 26 letters, A, E, I, O, U, they are called as vowels. So you are removing 5 letters, that is A, E, I, O, U, they are called as vowels. The remaining 21, they are called as consonants. So out of the 26 letters, 21 are consonants and 5 are vowels. So the general rule is that whenever a word starts with a consonant, there you put A, that is a. Whenever a word starts with a vowel, you put an, A and an. You know, A and an are used only for singular noun. For example, there is a tree near my house. Tree is a noun, and tree starts with T, which is a consonant. So we say a tree. If there are more than one tree, there is no article. You say there are two trees. Only if it is single, you call it a tree. Get me an apple. So what is the letter starting with for apple? A. A-P-P-L-E. So A is a vowel. So you'll tell, get me an apple. So that much is clear for you. Okay. But every time, this is not the story. What? All consonants can have a, that is A, and all vowels are going for an. There are exceptions. So these things you must be very thorough. So let us see what the exceptions are. Take the word honor, H-O-N-O-R. For example, what is H? It is a consonant. So when you're pronouncing it, H-O-N-O-R, you won't say ha. If I say hat, how will you pronounce it? Ha sound is coming, hat. But honor, when you say honor, H is silent. So what is more prominent there? O sound, honor, O, honor. So it is a O sound. So when you're pronouncing, if it is having a vowel sound, you have to say an. You have to pronounce it as an honor. I'll give you an example. My mother is a honest woman. Is it right? My mother is a honest woman. It is wrong because again H is silent here. So O is very evident, prominent, clear. Honest, pronouncing as honest. So my mother is an honest woman. So I told you there are exceptions. Not all consonants will have a. When there is vowel sound pronounced, you have to put an. Same for is applied for Europe. E is an European. So E is a vowel. So you naturally will tell E is an European. But again it's wrong, because even though European starts with E, it's pronounced as U sound. U. U means Y. Y is a consonant. So E is a European. So always notice that not all consonants will have A and not all vowels will have an. So it's based on pronunciation also. So this is also applicable for acronyms and initialisms. Acronyms means LCD. LCD. LCD, you have to pronounce it as an LCD display. L. How you go approach L? A sound. So you call it as an LCD display. UK. UK based company. You should say a UK based company because U sound. U is a consonant. HR. HR. How we are approaching H? A sound. A. HR. So, an HR department. URL. A URL. University. Again, it is a university. So like this differences are there that you have to be very careful when you are applying articles. Now, some places articles are not used at all. Articles are omitted. So let us see what they are. Often articles are omitted for abstract nouns or abstract ideas. For example, I am going to say this sentence. Let us go out for a dinner tonight. Let us go out for a dinner tonight. So, a dinner is a wrong application. Let us go out for dinner tonight. You will not say a dinner, you will say let us go out for dinner tonight. So again, you need not use article here. One more sentence. The creativity is a valuable quality in children. So here, the creativity is an unwanted usage. So how will you put it? Creativity is a valuable quality in children. So already told you for abstract nouns, there is no need of using article. Another exception is many nationalities and languages are not preceded by an, preceded means comes before, preceded by an article. So let us consider these examples. I studied the French in high school for 4 years. I studied the French in high school for 4 years. So what is the correct usage? I studied French in high school for 4 years. So before French, you need not put article. For sports and academic subjects, do not require articles. Sports and academic subjects do not require articles. So let us take these sentences for reference. I like to play the baseball. So here the is not required. I told you for sports it is not required. I like to play baseball. My sister was always good at the mathematics. My sister was always good at the mathematics. Again, here the is not required. So what is the correct usage? My sister was always good at mathematics. So need not put the article there. So these are certain exceptions for articles. So keep this in mind. When error spotting comes, these things are applicable. So you have to look into that area where which words require articles, which don't require articles, which requires definite articles, which requires indefinite articles. So these are the, I just briefed you about articles because it's a big vast area. Only by practice again I am telling you. When those who know really well, who write well, you read well, whatever it is, they forget articles. Everyone commit mistake. So don't worry that, oh, I am not able to remember. Just go through all this. It will help you. Again, as I say, again practice in your speaking, in your writing. You have to apply correctly. Only then this will always stay in your mind. These are all very, very important areas. Now one more thing we'll go through, that is the preposition. Preposition. So let us see what is a preposition. Preposition often tells us where the noun stands in relation to another noun, where one noun is in relation to another in a sentence. The coffee is on the table. The coffee is on the table. Where is the coffee? The coffee, the table, can I say? No. So what is the relationship? What is giving the relationship? The coffee is on the table. That on, that is on the top of the table. Where is the cat? The cat is under the table. That under is bringing the relation between the cat and the table. So preposition says, brings relationship between two nouns. So there are types of prepositions. Again, this preposition area is also a lot of similarity in the meaning, but you should know in which situation you are using it. According to that, it changes. It's a bit confusing. Still, we have to go through this also. Without all this, nothing is complete. Everything is incomplete. So it's a must that we should know about prepositions also. Preposition indicate direction, time, location, and relationships, as well as other abstract type of relationships. Let us see direction. You know what is direction? Left, right. Look to the left and you will see our destination. Look to the left, you will see our destination. Time. We have been working since this morning. Since means what? From that time to this time. That is called time base. Since is a preposition. Location. We saw a movie at the theatre. Where did you see the movie? At the theatre. Space. The dog hid under the table. Where did the dog hide? Under the table. So what are the main things for prepositions? Direction, time, location, space. So direction means to. Go to that side, go to this side, to. So time means since, from. Location means at. Then space means where it is, under. So these are the things for prepositions. So there are a lot of prepositions are there. Then one more thing is there. Verb plus preposition is called phrasal verb. Verb is the action verb and preposition. Come is a verb and out is a preposition. Come out. It's a phrasal verb. So they combine together will come phrasal verb. Come out means what? Getting out of a situation. That is called come out. So like that combination is called phrasal verb. So we have to know like these articles, prepositions. So whatever time we are getting, I just explained to you, briefed you about all this. So there will be some questions left in this that I will be giving you. Try to attempt all those questions and go through again what I took for in this class today. And also try to see more of these when you are preparing, and surely it's going to help you in your coming exam. So all the best. Thank you.